moment, if you listen and see financial markets and everything in the media and everything, almost everyone is familiar with the current situation of the global financial crisis and very anxious about, even though they know very little what is affecting the whole big picture.
Yes.
As a financial expert, how would you predict the developments of the financial markets and its system in the coming decade? And in your opinion, what needs to be done in order to have something like this big global financial crisis from happening again?
Yes, it's a good question. It's also a question that I actually introduced in my course. That's my teaching style. One of my teaching styles is to let the executive know that what they learn in class actually is very useful and relevant to the real world. So for example, this situation about the recent financial tsunami, what caused that? What is the implication to us? And how we protect ourselves from the future happening. Now the root cause of this one is because of subprime loan. Is that some of the brokers, even the banks, are not very careful in lending out. And when they price the risk, they're not very careful. Okay? So in future, I think, in the future, in terms of financial reform, some kind of better disclosure of the banking practice is important. At the same time, the oversight is also important. Even Alan Greenspan admitted that. During his era, he was not very careful. He trusts the so-called free market too much. They think that the bankers, all these people, are supposed to be qualified people to make good decisions. But it turned out that it's not so. So sometimes even car dealers go in to sell houses. And they make a lot of money. And because they're not well trained, they make bad decisions. So in the long run, I think better bank disclosure and the better surveillance or oversight of the system is important. Now for this one, you cannot just act it on your own in your own country, because nowadays international financial markets are integrated. So countries' governments coordinate. Otherwise, if you raise tax or you do some more regulations here, people just what? Just move to another location. So government has to coordinate. Recent proposal also talk about tax havens. Tax havens of some countries have been abused. So people use the tax havens to allocate money or even do some illegal financing or things, some dirty tricks. So better surveillance and coordination of this kind is very important. But let me very quickly add, with the globalization and also liberalization, I'm sorry to say that this kind of crisis will occur again and again. And I will tell you that as globalization gets more serious and intense, this is one of shortcomings. Then future crises get even worse and worse. Let's look at the situation. In 1997, we have Asian financial crisis. At that time, we say, oh, we haven't seen that for a long time. But it's within 10 years old. Now it's another one. So you can see that this kind of crisis will keep coming. Let me give you an analogy. Regulation is something with mixed blessing. Just like you're holding a goose. You're holding a goose by its neck. You cannot hold a goose too tight. Because if you hold a goose too tight, you'll kill the goose. Right? That means regulations. But if you do not hold the goose tight enough, the goose will fly away. That happens to regulations. If you have too tight, regulations too tight, you kill the market incentives. But if you do not hold it closely, then people abuse the system and lead to the recent crisis. Through what I see the financial history, it's just like a pendulum. Sometimes we want regulations. Sometimes we want liberalizations. For example, during the Reagan administration, one of the major mandates of Reagan administration is to liberalize, because too much bureaucracy actually slowed down the market. So they have a whole wave of liberalization. And they help the economy a lot. But now it's to the other extreme. Too much liberalization causes a lot of abuse. Now we come back to regulations. It's always a very tough task. How do you hold a goose? Just with the right strength.
Sounds like a very delicate matter,
very
going back and forth.
And also change of time.
Yes.
It's way of time. But let me tell you that the crisis will not just gone forever. We'll just keep coming back. So it's better for you to protect yourself as individual investors or as a company. That's why we need to teach risk management techniques.